Okay, so welcome guys to another episode of Kickstart with Rohan. And frankly speaking, I'm very excited to host this particular show, this particular episode of this show, because the person whom I will be having a discussion with, I was longing since when I started this show. Okay, so please welcome one of my very good friend, Mr. Sudip Paul. Welcome Sudip to my show, and it's a very pleasure for me, an honor for me to have an interactive interaction session with you. And just giving
Thank
an
you, Rohan.
yeah, just giving
Thank
an
you. Thank
introduction
you for
to
having me here.
Sudip. Presently, he is working as a senior executive in assembly and services for Shachi Agro, and he has completed his graduation as a BTech in automobile engineering from MCKB Institute of Engineering. But that's not only of his introduction, but because he's such a guy, he's such a multi-talented person, because he's not only my friend but he's also my guide as well as a philosopher. He's a pro in every field. If you take the field of photography, academics, job profile, traveling, photography, and even in the field of drinking. So yes, yes. So he's a master player in everything. And frankly speaking, I whenever I feel any kind of a depression or any kind of advice related to any industry or academics related, I generally consult with him. So that's a brief introduction I gave about Shudeep, because I generally don't do for other candidates. But as I mentioned, I was super excited to host this particular episode. Okay, so welcome Shudeep once again to my show, and thanks for giving us time in this busy schedule only, because I know as a senior executive there are lots of things that you are handling. Uh, so just an open up the session with you the for this present episode. I want to know about the overview of the job profile that you do as a senior executive.
Right. For the very first note, I thank you for having me here, and I seriously appreciate the initiative you have taken to, bring every field into a exposure, giving exposure to all the juniors who are working, who are enthusiastic about working in different fields. So I am quite sure this would give a very good insight to them. So I seriously appreciate the decision you have taken to bring this in front. Well, talking about my job profile, I got into Strachi Agro from the very campusing that the interview event that took place in our college. And from then on, I was into and the agricultural field, the farm machineries field. So initially, I started as a GET in assembly and service. There, I have worked for like an year. I used to monitor the assembly process in my factory. I used to look after the PDA, the feed delivery inspections, and also I used to monitor the technician allocations pan India. Like the service calls used to come on different sectors of India. It was pan India. I mean, almost in most of the states we had technicians. So allocating them, scheduling their tasks, like how they need to report. Many times it happened that there are few problems in diesel engines, the farm machinery, especially in areas and power plants. So coordinating them with our senior technicians here in Calcutta, and also the field technicians who are working out there in there may be like there are technicians in Kashmir, in the deep valleys of Kashmir. There are technicians down in like South India. Also, there are technicians there in Arunachal and Guwahati. So it's an elaborate work, and you need to coordinate with each of your members, discuss with them about the problems, and then sort them out in a real time basis, so that the farmers, like the target, the farmers, they don't get like hampered for their work. And this is an important work, I believe, because the backbone of our economy is agriculture, and mostly we are like working hand in hand with each of the members here in the field to increase the final yield, the final output of the agriculture sector by well mechanizing it. So this is what our challenge is during the season time to give fast services. There might be some warranty issues which I also look after. So sorting them out, keeping in the interest of my company as well as the customers, and this is it. Like working on this, and there are always some challenges, new things, new ventures. You need to learn, you get to learn. So and things are going this way.
Yeah. Okay, you are in comparatively in agricultural field, agriculture,
Right, right.
and as we know that in an Indian scenario, agriculture is one of the backbone of our Indian economy. So,
Right.
how do you relate the auto industry with the agricultural unit?
Right. See, auto industry, it's almost if I talk about what I learned 4 years back with you. So it is completely related to the IC engines, right? It's about the diesel engines, the petrol engines we have read together. And here it's almost that we are having engines driving, that is the main powertrain, and that is driving our rotaries to for the land preparations, that may be for post harvesting processes. So it is mainly the engines that we have, and from that we are driving power for different other applications, that might be spraying, that might be harvesting. So it is completely related, but it might not be what we once aspired for, having into like vehicle fields or something into heavy vehicle fields. But it is closely, not rather closely, it is completely related to the engine part we have done, the gearbox part. We already, like, we have the same things, but the application is a bit different.
Yeah. Okay, now you have done your BTech in the automobile field, and now you're working in a automobile as well as a, you can say, as a production as well as a compressor manufacturing. So how do you relate that? What are the things that you have learned in your BTech curriculum, entire BTech curriculum? What do you find the application of those things in your job profile?
Right, Rohan. Speaking about what I personally feel is that once you get into a course, you just get to know what other people have done.
Okay.
You just get to know what the inventions have been made, what other people has concluded. But once you are in the field, you get to know what you need to do, what others are doing. It's all about the real time factors. So we have learned what has been done in this field, what uh, is being done. And once I'm thrown into the scenario, or the present scenario, it has taught me a lot of things. It has taught me the real time management. It has taught me the operations in a factory, the work procedures, the channelization of work plannings, and all these things is something like what you get to read is the like ideal theories, but it's almost quite different in a factory where you get to consider many factors, a lot of factors. It's not about always the theories or the the formulas we get through. But it is always about different factors that you need to anticipate. So that is quite good to learn on a real factory scenario.
Okay. Now, Sudeep, now in the auto industry, for the last, if you take the 2.5 years, the auto industry is really struggling a bit. Okay, and within this Corona pandemic situations, the scene have get might have got some worse in what we have seen. So, what are your views on this particular scenario?
We'll see what we have. So what the automobile industry has chosen to shift its BS4 to BS6, and the time really had a bad clash with this pandemic. So that is one of the biggest challenge I think the automotive industry is going to face. Like it is facing
Facing,
rather,
yeah.
it is facing. The prices are quite high now, but I'm pretty sure like. If the government coordinates on certain aspects of taxations and stuff, and if it is going to promote, if it is seriously going to promote this business, because it's a huge uh, you know it's a huge sector. it's a huge field in business terms. So if the government is going to promote, then I guess things will be back to normal again. And especially when it is when the government is planning for shifting to electrical vehicles, especially. So I think government has to have some solid initiative regarding like promoting this and also promoting the Make in India. Like it is promoting the Make in India project, but it will channelize how to process these EVs, you say, or the passenger vehicles, because you see there are a lot of new companies like Kia, MG. They are doing really good, and also now Thar is into the market. I guess you have seen that Thar. So companies are doing really well. As individual companies, they are doing really well. They are striving. They are working on a real market study. So to reach the customer in every aspect, they are increasing the quality to like more premium base. So I believe things are going to be back to normal once we have that much initiatives taken by our government. Like on the contrary, if I would like to mention you about the subsidy systems, what the government does generally in the agriculture sector to promote mechanization, farm mechanization. It is there are subsidy systems. As last time we discussed over phone also about the subsidy system. So this is what government is doing. Like government is paying certain amount for the you know on the
Okay.
subsidy scheme,
Mhm.
and you are paying half of it, or maybe rather a percentage of it, to get the machine. And this is how they are promoting the farm mechanization. So the real target for our government is to raise that value, the farm mechanization value. It is something measured in kilowatt per acre.
Area. Okay, Sudip, now coming towards this academic fields. You have done about lots of projects, assignments throughout your this academic part, and especially about the final year project. So, what are your views or suggestions with respect to an industry aspect of choosing the particular final year project subject topic?
Can you just clarify? I mean, is it about the implication of the project, or like
No, how
implication it into
actually
the real?
I want to know that if a student wants to do his final year projects, then what aspects he must approach, whether it will be in the industry oriented or academics oriented or research oriented, or what the industry wants, because final year projects plays an important role during the interview process. Okay, the interview asks
Right, right,
questions
right,
about the project. So in that
right.
respect, what specific about the topic selection?
Well, Ron, for that, I would like to tell you it should be much more like, the approach should be much more about uh, like one should put emphasis on what the market is going, okay, what the industries are like requiring, what the industries are approaching into, okay. So, like for me, it was a kinetic energy recovery system. So, in most of the like motorsports industry, like in the Formula Ones or something related to that, everyone is working on this kinetic energy recovery system, to make one's machine more efficient. So that is what was a good, briefing for me to get into that project. So one should always look after the present market. Like I shouldn't work with something that is already obsolete, but that is something far beyond the vision. Like one should think of something standing on that particular standpoint. Okay, standing on that particular market scenario. So one should grasp something which is just trying to be prevalent in the present, something which several industries are looking forward into, something which researchers are trying to have notes on. So that is what I think should like everyone should look after for a final year project.
Okay, now about the views that you have of pursuing higher studies.
Right, presently, like the situation is very tough. Like I already discussed with you lately. So the situation is really tough in case of work work scenario. Many people are losing works, and it is quite pathetic that, but you need to consider the economic situation right now. But on that very note, I always would prefer to go for higher studies to much more to give myself much more greater exposure and to climb. It's about climbing up a step higher. So obviously, one should be ready. Whatever the situation is, one should be like ready to grasp that. But I think this time I would get myself a bit more time to like and wait for the things to settle down a bit.
Normal.
But we have already accepted the new normal.
Yeah.
Still, still, one need to like as because the swimming. Though I know swimming, not only about me, but still, you can't get into the higher waves right now. First,
Yeah.
you need to try with the small surfs and then get into it. So I'll be waiting, but obviously I'll prefer to go for higher studies and then.
Okay, and as you have mentioned about that new normal that we are also dealing with it. So, how is the industry is dealing with this new normal situation?
Well,
Specifically for your field, because you cannot work from home. That's not possible for you. For
right,
production and assembly, that's not possible. So that's how
right.
you are dealing with that.
See, our company has taken all particular measures, for the employee security and safety. So each time we get into the very entrance of the factory, we are being sanitized, well sanitized. Like not only us, our vehicles are being sanitized, and then we enter. And that's some practices that were prevalent earlier. Like we used to allow people to get out of the factory during lunchtime, or in different cases like we had to have something from the market. We used to allow people to get out of the factory, whatever the time it would be during the working hours. But this time we have restricted that until and unless it's quite serious. Like so, we don't go for it. It's about one-time entry and the last-time exit. Also, we are taking measures about the social distancing. Like we have marked the assembly lines, like how much distance should be there between two vehicles which are being assembled. And especially earlier we used to have two people assembling a vehicle, and now it's almost we have made it a static position where and particular individual is assembling, taking help of the EOD cranes. Okay, where we used to have the rotary, like the rotary part which we used to have, which we have in our machine, that used to be lifted up by two persons and then fitted into the gearbox. But this time, it's totally being held by the cranes. We are just formulating that accordingly. That one time the crane is over here fixing the first vehicle and then it's moving to the other part, fixing the other vehicle. So this social distancing is also being maintained. Masks and sanitizers are being provided, like individual sanitizers are being provided from the company. Uh, Hand washes and etc. Social distancing in factory itself, and almost every alternate day we are sanitizing the you know
Factory premises.
like yeah, factory premises, then also the office premises, our chairs, desks, etc. And also like you see, we almost have movements every day. Like trucks are being loaded from Kolkata to different parts of our, different parts of the country, going to our branches. Like that may be Guwahati, that may be Cuttack, and also there are things that are coming from Kolkata port to us and things like that. But once our loading team is approaching that truck, we are first, ensuring that the things are well sanitized. People are going to sanitize them, and after that, we allow our loading team that they can work with them. So this is like has become the new normal for us. We are working on that, and also like to mention, we have shifted much more into soft copies of the documents we work with rather than the hard copies,
Yeah.
and all these things are like doing well nowadays. So we are used to it.
Okay, now this one of the important questions that I will open up to you with respect to the student perspective. That please share your suggestions that you faced during your interview process, because that was your first interview and you cracked on that basis. Okay, so that it's a very I found very rare people's doing that. So what will be the way of approach that a student should acquire in order to face his first interview?
Like, very honestly speaking, uh, I was not quite prepared, for the interview.
Okay.
Seriously, being a bit unprofessional in this part, I was much busy in my final year project. Then I worked till 5 a.m. in the morning, and then the very next day was our interview. So I didn't do seriously much of stuff to get prepared for the interview. But what I think one should the approach should be much more it should be fearless. Like once people start fearing, people start thinking that what would happen, and that is the
Nervousness.
time people start constricting themselves. They start fearing, they lose confidence. So the approach should be fine, I have prepared myself down these years and I'll face them uh, the way I am. So one should be very much honest to oneself. One should be very much sound and clear to what they know and how they tackle things. So I think that is what people want. Like actually, you see, it's not about how much learned you are, like how much you have grasped, how much you can memorize. It's not about that is not the criteria. Your employer will be demanding from you, but it's about how you approach to problems. What are how much you tackle things in time, how much you can absorb, how the way you think. That is what people put you into situation and then they judge you. So that is, I think, one should be very much honest, very much clear, very much sound for that, and I think that would be something really easy to crack.
Okay, can you share some of the questions that you particularly faced?
On the very first note, when we're having that cold introduction part, right? Yeah, I hope you remember. We were sitting all together in the exciting hall, and so there were many questions. At that time, I remember Devan sir from our company and Annie ma'am, they were there for the interview process. So I was very much not that serious. I was real casual, telling about how I love cooking, how I love riding and traveling, so all this stuff. And after that, when it was a one-to-one interview, they started asking me about my hobbies, about cooking, about riding bikes. Then Devan sir asked me about if you give me a situation if you have worked till 8 p.m. and then you come to know that you have to travel late at night from 12 you have a train, then you travel for a day, you go to a hill station, and I was there with it, hill station is so I think this is the time you need to work on, whatever be the situation, whatever be the uh, you know
Situation maybe.
you should be stretchable, you
Yeah.
should be stretchable.
Flexible.
So this is the time, yeah, this is the time you need to be really flexible. So I was quite through it. So I said, yeah, I'm ready to do whatever the situation asks from me. So that is what they thought was good in me, I guess. And technical questions, there were two, three technical questions that were very basic, about carburetors and things. So that's it.
Okay, Shudeep, it's
But one of the I'll just
oh
interrupt
yeah,
you.
sure.
But one of the most interesting part was we have our like one of our seniors there in the interview asked me about whether if I have had a glance about the company, and I was quite uh, serious and I said no, I haven't had any homeworks on about the company. No, I know anything about power tillers. And on that very interview, they just took 5 minutes of time to explain me what they are actually working on and what they can offer me to work on. So
So
that
that
is
time you made sure that yes, I am going to work for them. Okay, that time it was pretty 90%. It was sure they are offering you the job.
yeah, kind of. And after that, the rest of the things were there waiting for me. And we
Yeah,
had a biscuit and
yeah.
tea after that.
Oh, okay, Shudeep, it's a wonderful session with you to have a chat with it, especially in this particular fields, in this particular domain. Generally, we over phone have different conversations for, but related to a technical aspects, it's a very efficient conversation that I found to be. So, just closing this episode, the last things I will open up the last question for you. That what are your views on this particular show, and how you feel of being a part of this show, and what is your message to the audience?
Right. I seriously feel very, honored and also at the same time very much proud that one of my best friend is doing like has taken such initiative, and I am quite sure, with coming days things will go much more, into a good direction, and we are going to get huge followers for this, many juniors. And we had that interactions with juniors we used to have, and we used to get many calls. So now you can give the links to them and say like don't disturb me, just go through this
Just
video
go
and
through
you'll get
this
it
video,
set up.
you will
So,
get it.
right. So for that, and this is quite good. I see a huge potential in this because very or less people get this opportunity to interact, to know, to learn, and I am very much sure that the discipline you carry, seriously, how much messed I am and how much disciplined you are, and that seriously, like compiled into our both of our success in college. So yeah, like I used to miss every class and every notes, and used to have like each of them, and we used to share. So I'm very much confident about the discipline, seriously the discipline you carry, and I'm quite sure this is going to bring huge success to you. And I seriously wish all success comes your way. And about this, yeah, this is going to seriously help a lot of people. And even like if I am in a situation to suggest someone, so I'll obviously I would like to refer to some of your videos on the particular genres, and that would be really good. So best of luck to you. Carry on this venture and do share with me those upcoming videos.
Yeah.
And also, like if I can help you in some way, do go for it. And all the best.
Okay, very much thank you to Sudip for having him in this show. I will ask the viewers to have a view to it because he's in a particular in automotive field, also in the combination of production manufacturing. He has given a vivid idea of what the situation of the market it as present. So have a view to it. If you have any kinds of queries, please ask us through comment section. And if you want to know some more about that, so I will ask the viewers to have also the candidate also can suggest in that comment section. Please reach us through comment section. If you have any suggestions, also any improvement that you need, please reach us through comment section. And that's all for today. We will meet in the next video. And till
And
then,
yeah,
yeah,
Rohan,
yeah.
one thing to interrupt. Like we are also learning. It's only a year for me to like in this professional field. So there might be something I spoke wrong, and there might be something we are also even in the process of learning. So obviously, with coming days, we will be much more like we'll be having much more insight and much more clarity about what we are working
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Actually,
So
it's a
in
kind
case,
of a survey. So, okay, so as we will progress, we will know that things are going to
exactly,
be like this. So it's a
exactly,
learning process. Okay, so much
exactly.
more videos
So
will come up. That will be some more exciting things that will be in the content.
exactly. So people watching this do put questions in the comment section, and with time, once we get to know even those things, whatever we know, we'll definitely share with you, and whatever we don't know for the time being, we will try to grasp it
Get
and we
it.
will share with you.
Yeah, yeah.
So keep your eye on Rohan. He's a very good guy, and do subscribe and share. Okay, and all the
Okay.
best to all of you.
Yeah. So that's all for our present episode. Please follow this channel, follow this show, and please subscribe the channel. That's all for today. We will meet in the next video.